everybody, welcome to the Geek Test. My name's Steve.
Let me squeeze in here for this one. My name's Arnez.
And today in this Collectible Wars, we are doing another Rodan and Mothra set together. These ones you actually have to buy individually. The bootleg Essex Monster Arts ones come in a pack.
Alright, so should we do the price thing first like we always do, Steve?
Yeah, the main reason we're doing this is because we wanted the Monster Arts one to be just focused between the Monster Arts one. And for that one, I felt like, and it's weird, because when we get into this, we'll get into it. But the Monster Arts ones hedge it out just barely, I felt. Because you were buying a Monster Arts to buy a Monster Arts. Just buy the Monster Arts.
And even though the bootlegs are technically molds of the Monster Arts, it kind of gave it some kind of run for the money.
Yeah, it's like, it's close enough.
Yeah.
But because essentially the durability, the way the figures were designed differently than the Monster Arts, and because they're so similar in design, I felt like because they lacked still,
Yeah.
it just dish out the extra money. While these guys are definitely a lot closer in price, and there's actually a difference between the molds. Now, I know we did Monster Arts versus NECA beforehand, but because these guys, I would say, is a much more similar comparison than Monster Arts.
Yep.
Because the reason why you're buying this one is because you don't want to pay the Monster Arts price, but you still want the figures. NECA's the same way.
Yep.
You bought these ones because you didn't want to buy the Monster Arts one.
But you wanted something cheaper.
You want something cheaper.
Comes down to the cheaper versions of the representations of the figures.
Now, you could go even cheaper and get the Jack specifics, but we don't talk about that.
Oh, we should do bootlegs. No, that's just too many videos now.
Yeah, that's one too many. That and like, just buy the bootlegs. Please buy the bootlegs over Jacks. If you want like something like legitly good, I buy the bootlegs. I'll condone it. Then.
But Steve, Jacks are only $1 on clearance aisle. Just say.
Sure. Well, the Rodan was okay. There was no Mothra though.
$1, Steve.
Well, anyways, first and foremost, price. If you want to get them together, the NECAs are going to cost you about $50 on average. Bootlegs, $35. So bootlegs are already winning a little bit because they are, again, cheaper.
$15 difference. So now
to be honest, they're the price of what Jacks were to begin with.
Yeah.
But you don't get the buildings, which makes me sad.
Jacks is winning, baby. Woo!
Next, on to accessories. I don't even think I'm going to bother grabbing their stands because, like, look at what you get. Like, you spent, like, this is, like, kind of like how I feel like the Monster Arts should be, right?
Yeah.
And this is where this review is going to get weird because you get extra stands. Granted, this one's kind of crooked and I can't really fix it very well.
Yeah, but it's just individual, though. It's not like the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, well, it's just like, it happens periodically with these kind of collectibles. So I'm not super upset. But you get, like, even if I don't freaking want to have that in there.
Look at that.
He still looks good just sitting there. I don't need this, but I like it. But you get, like, little dioramas. The Mothra one could be a little more exciting, but the Rodan one's just freaking boss. So for, like, the extra...
$15.
Yeah, about $15, $15, $20 you're going to be spending on average. You get fancy little stands. Well, these guys, you just get...
Steve, but these stands can go, like, everywhere. Look at that.
If I grab the right ones, I actually grabbed the Monster Arts stands we still got sitting down here. But they just...
Look at that. Bam. Now, put one on there.
Alright, Mothra's not as bad.
Yeah, Mothra's not as bad. It can
I think it actually holds Mothra's weight decently well. Oh, now she's tanking.
Just like this review. Bam!
Oh, and there she goes. NECA definitely wins in this category. Alright, so for detailing, just like we did with the Monster Arts one, we're going to go with...
Do we even have to?
Because I know when we did the Monster Arts one, Monster Arts 1 lost 2 in terms of paint job. Because it's just like, how do you beat flaming wings that were like how it was in the movie and also has a, like, around the neck region? Eyes are super beady, which kind of I almost prefer. Granted, Monster Arts got some painted ton inside of its mouth, but the wings are just way more standout.
Paint job. Goodbye, Monster Arts. Hello, NECA.
Yes.
Body-wise, though, we were...
Yeah, like the sculpt-wise, it was definitely... Monster Arts was ahead here. Now, between the bootleg, I almost prefer the NECA just because you still get the crisp detailings in the wings. While with the bootleg, it's still kind of faded looking.
I don't know what it is, what they did, but it looks weird.
Well, it's just because when you repurpose a mold, you lose some of the detailing. It's kind of like what Transformers figures had that problem. Just over time, there's degradation.
Yeah.
And then your problem is you have that degradation, plus it's already a copy of something.
Yeah. So the question is like, is it just yours that is bad?
No, it would be like this on all of them.
All of them?
Yeah, it's not. It having some Playmates problems here and there is not going to be something that is just going to show up.
So not everyone is different. They're all actually this bad.
Yes, and also there's like the joints are showing. While on the NECA, granted you got like the hinge and a little peg there, but I prefer that than like my gapping that I'm getting here.
Plus
that
the holy chest.
Yeah, that you can't fix. Holy chest is like we mentioned in the one. It's Mothra's stinger. It's okay. But like the Monster Arts ones, you can kind of like, even though there's gapping, you can adjust it to accommodate. This one you can't. While this, like my biggest gripe I really have with this thing is the wings can never really be fully connected looking.
Which is a bad thing to a certain extent.
Yeah, because it's like when you look at it from the back, it's never quite right. But this also has the same problem. Like the wings just don't close on this. Like this side, I can get it. This one,
nope.
Not even close. So, and then like the NECA, the wings only really go up to here. Granted, the Monster Arts ones, I can get a little bit higher. But on the stand, they just sink. NECA one, more or less, same problem. Now, because you got the hinges here, the wings are going to sag a little bit. That could be kind of solved with some pledge. But this one's doing more or less the same thing.
Yeah, so it's like 50-50.
Yeah, so at that point, this still looks a little cleaner than what we get with the bootleg, because there's just a lot more gapping and the joints don't hold nearly as well. Plus, I kind of like that you can fold the wings in.
It gives that variety of what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that's like less is more.
You can actually make him hug the thing.
Yeah, well, it's like you could bring them in.
Yeah.
And you can bring it around and it kind of looks natural. And then you can have it spreading about. Now, you don't get the jaw articulation, but this did have an extra head.
Yeah.
So you had options. And to be honest, I kind of like that idea with this. Well, this one, you have the articulation, which isn't noticeable, which is nice. But it's still like, it's articulated, but this is sort of the same. So I'd give it the Monster Arts. Just because this has more articulation. But as you can see, it's not always a good thing.
You mean the bootleg Monster Art?
Yeah. And then the Mothras essentially have the same thing going on. NECA one's much larger because it's meant to fit in a 12-inch scale. So your bug is a little bit.
Ooh, don't break it.
Yeah, I know. Got a little bit more size to it. Also, just the color scheme is definitely a lot more accurate than what we had in the movie. Granted, I like the white on the antennas here, but for the most part, the coloring on the NECA Mothra just kind of grabs your attention a little bit better. Same with you got like the fluff here on the wings are painted. Now the wings definitely are brighter on the bootleg. But again, I feel like this is more serviceable because you get like the nice texturing for the wings here, which definitely looks a little bit more accurate for the movie. And then it can actually like bend upwards all the way, so you get some crazy flappage if you wanted. Now, because it's a hinge, again, it's going to have issues.
Yeah.
But I still appreciate that I get more posability, because like these wings don't do nothing at all. Well, this, I can bring that up and play with it. These can go a little bit up and down. You also get a little rotation there. Not so much at this point. Not at all. And arms can go. Whoop. They're on a ball joint, but you only really get forward and back, which again is pretty much the same thing that we got on the bootleg here. So Mothra just looks nicer, larger figure. So yeah, she kind of just wins in all categories here.
Yeah, all overall, definitely.
And then finally, I guess now that I think about it, I probably should hook this up, because I was like, getting super sick and tired of this waist popping off on me.
It always keeps falling off. It's actually kind of agitating.
But because for this part, I kind of wanted it to... I got it standing up decent with the other one, but that was because it was kind of sitting on the other Rodan's wings because that Rodan could hold itself up. But standing next to Godzilla here... God, it's one of those, like, I almost want to go with the bootlegs here. Because just the way the size difference is, it's more accurate for the movie.
Really?
While the NECA one here, like, they're all on the same scale. So, it's not quite right. Like, the Mothra is much larger than it should be. But Rodan's probably smaller, but the Rodan's smaller than it should be. So, like, you got problems both ways. Well, this, it's pretty much the scale.
Yeah, but, ooh, it's hideous kind of scale.
But you lose the detailing. But I feel like, just for the sake of argument, I feel like the bootlegs win standing next to a Monstarts. Now, grabbing the NECA, on the other hand, which I guess is more akin to what we'd be going with. And to be honest, it's about the same.
It's about the same.
So, I think this goes with the figures a little bit better. But on an individual power level, these guys are a little bit more impressive.
Yeah. It's kind of the same.
Yeah, well, that's also because of the way they have the bases, too. They're meant to be displayed as if they were by themselves. Well, like, Monstarts are meant to be, like, you're actually, like, posing them together, making fight scenes, stuff like that. You're not going to really be doing that with the Rodan and Mothra.
No, they'll just be there.
So, to conclude this video, which I think this is, like, the weird part, right? Because with Monster Arts won because it's just they're just more solid figures. Now, rather, for bang for my buck, I just want the figures that aren't going to fall apart on me and worry about breaking. Well, these guys are definitely much closer, but then this one I feel like because the price is so close, like these are only about 15, 20 bucks more expensive. These guys blow these ones out of the water.
Oh, God, yeah. Like, way too much difference.
And a lot of it's just because of the detailing and the way the figures are set up. They're just, to me, more impressive figures by themselves than the bootlegs are individually. Now, yes, they'll work better with your Monsters figures than these guys. And you're saving a little bit of money. But I feel like if you're saving money, just invest in the NECAs. Like, it's not, like, I don't even think it's a close discussion at this point. Just spend, like, at 15, 20 bucks, just buy the NECAs. Yeah. And even, like, ease of access. These things are available at Targets. You can get them at most novelty shops, Big Bad Toy Store. You can get them online pretty easily.
Anywhere you go, pretty much.
While for the bootlegs, it's Wish in China, and even with the way things are currently, even if you order it, you're probably not seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, the NECAs, you'll still get a hold of.
Yeah, because when I went to Target looking for the Rhino alien, they had 2, 3 of each.
Yeah, and then there's even the poster Mothra, so you got options now.
Oh, yeah.
Still need a poster Rodian? I don't know if we're going to get it, but it would have been kind of cool.
We need a views. Put it out, NECA.
Right? So, I feel like the Monster Arts one was like a close debate. It was close. This one's not even close. But that's the crazy thing, right? Is because it was close at 100, but these things are 50 bucks and like I just buy the NECAs.
Yeah. If you want to customize because you're bored or you want to do something, then get the bootlegs.
Yeah, it was like the bootlegs. If you put some time into them, they would look better. Yeah. But you got to put time into it, and time is money.
So, like, when Steve does his, we'll determine at that point if they're worth that time.
Well, to be honest, that's where I put the effort into them. They're like you're better off buying these over the Monster Arts. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I can get it looking better.
Now I gotta see what Steve's gonna do to this.
Well, it's just gonna look like the NECA, but it's just gonna be the Monster Arts one.
You piqued my interest.
So it's gonna be better. The Mothra, I don't like. I'm gonna mess with the body, but I think I'll leave the wings alone.
That's one thing that I want to see is how you're gonna do the wings on a Mothra.
Because to be fair, I don't think
you can add too much to it.
No, it's like I can maybe brighten it a little bit. Like I might add a little bit here and there. But to be honest, what I'd probably do is make it a darker black. Around the wings here.
I see.
I'd have to watch the movie again to really feel, but it'd probably be like adding the fuzz here and redoing the body. Well, him, more or less, I'm probably going to leave a lot of this figure alone, but I'm going to add a lot, like I'd add a lot of the red highlights.
Trying to make it look like the NECA one, right?
For the most part, I mean, I want it to look like it came out of the volcano.
Yeah.
In the way it was. So it's going to be a lot of reds. But again, I'll have to
Good luck fixing that wing, though.
check out the movie. I don't think there's, to be honest, I don't think there's a way of me getting around that. I'd have to play around with it a little bit more, but...
Well, once you take it apart, maybe there'll be something you can...
Problem is I can't really take it apart because it's all glued. I have to break the glue. Like I'm kind of in a...
You're kind of stuck.
I feel like, actually looking at it, I think my problem is it's not actually glued in right. So I might actually break that glue seam just to fix it.
See if you can do it better.
Yeah, because once I get it lined up, it probably would at least sit flush, and that's really all I want. Because again, be honest, I'll probably keep the hole because it's kind of convenient.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Just get a beast.
Well, there's no way I'm going to get this to be good enough to support itself.
That's one of those things you can play with.
But yeah, look forward to that. Because I'll probably be, my next days off, I'll probably be working on that. So, we'll have some fun with it. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.